Hello everyone, welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. Today I'm going to be doing a card using this beautiful stamp set, Floral Statements. As soon as I saw the new annual catalogue that was released on the 1st of June 2017, this one was the one I knew I just wanted to have. And it's, when you stamp it in black, it's just got so much definition in it. Like you could just have it stamped on a white piece of card and it would, and not even color it, it would just look beautiful. So this is the card that I've come up with using the Hello stamp set from it. Now I've colored that one, and it just, if you color it, I find it, if you mat it on black, I have cut this one out. If you colour it, if you put it on black, it really brings it out beautifully because it's got that lovely deep black stamped on it right in the middle with all the flowers. Okay, so I have cut another one out. I am going to be colouring it. Excuse me. I am going to be colouring it today, so it won't be a short tutorial. So feel free to fast forward at any time. But I just thought it was really important that I do the full tutorial. So you can see, if you just, even if you just did it, if you stamped it, but you'd have to cut it out to put it on a black. But if you had, I haven't got a white piece at hand, but if you just imagine, if you just stamp that on white, it would just come up beautifully without even colouring it. So we're going to get started. So to start with, we're going to colour. So oops, wrong way. I'll bring you in a little bit while we're colouring. So I'm going to use the Stampin' Up! Aqua Painter, and you can see the water in the barrel there. And then just off to the side, I've got my piece of paper toweling that if your paintbrush gets a bit too wet, you can just dab it on your paper towel. So I'm going to be colouring the flowers in Island Indigo. So we're just going to press it together like that and open it, and it's going to give me that palette there, and that's what I'm going to be working on. You might not be able to see it all the time, but I think it's more important you see where I'm colouring. So to start with, I'm just going to start from the centre and brush outwards. And just bring it back in. Now I'm just doing, this is on watercolour paper also, more importantly. I do use a different watercolour paper to Stampin' Up's one. This one is Arches Smooth, and it's 185 GSM. So I'm just going to go back out there. So the thing with watercolouring is you can always add more colour. So that's why I like to watercolour, because you can always add more. So you can see the first petal is a bit darker, but that doesn't matter because it will be dry by the time I come back from the second petal. Just when you're going down to the edge, just be careful. Just use, I'm barely touching this also. That's another point I wanted to let you know. I'm hardly touching it. I'm just putting it in, and I'm just using the very tip of my Aqua Painter. Now I just want to be very careful going around that edge. Just So I thought I'd show you the whole process in this card today, because putting the card together is very quick and simple once we've coloured this in. So you can see I just went back into the palette and adding a bit more colour. So I will do that also with this one over here. You don't have to be so careful on the edge if it's going into a real dark area like that, but when it's going onto the white, you really do need to be a bit careful. This one here is going into the lettering, so we just want to cover that. Now this piece over here is a bit tricky. What I would do is I'm just watching I'm still in focus because I've got you zoomed right in. I would just dab, not even use a brush stroke. I'm just dabbing around there. Then if you want to just add a bit more definition in the center, just dabbing it on my towel, and I'll just bring that out a little bit. Sorry, I'm trying to be careful to stay in focus for you, but I do have you zoomed right in, so I do apologise if I go out of focus for you. But this stamp is just so easy to colour. You could do quite a few of them. So we're actually nearly finished this flower. That's how quick it is. And I'm not going to fiddle too much because I'm sure you don't want to watch me paint. So that's that. We'll just do the other flower. Now you can see that flower, this petal here is also turned up. The other one wasn't. So on the part that's turned up, that would be a lot darker than the normal petal. So what I'm going to do is just go straight directly onto there and add a really deep colour on there. So just being really careful. I'm hardly touching it. I'm only just tipping the end of my paintbrush on there. Now I'm just laying down the colour. You can always go back over it. You can always add some colour. So we're just starting from this. Always start the darker colour from the centre of your flower. Then when you've hardly got any colour left on, I just go out to the edge sometimes and just bring it back in there. And it does dry very quickly. So we'll just go from the dark around that big letter H. And then we're just going to be really careful on the edge, just doing it with the very point of your Aqua Painter. Just adding a little bit more colour. You can actually do little circles as well. You just do, you'll find which you're more comfortable with colouring. And this flower is a lot quicker to colour than the other one because it's got a lot more lettering around it. So we're just going, so I would just add a real deep bit of colour around the centre. You can see I'm not pulling it out yet, I'm just laying it down. And with this stamp, the artist has done all the hard work. It's put the real dark images for you, the real dark impressions, so you know where the dark needs to be, like the light and shade. So now I'm just going to pull that out a bit so it blends in. I just had a quick look to make sure it's still in, so you can still see what I'm doing. It's so easy when you're doing a tutorial to go out of range of the camera. So you can see how easy it is to colour that in. So I'm just going from the outside, because I've got that dark letter there that I can use as a buffer to start on there, and then just bring it in. So I'm not going to fiddle with it too much in the tutorial. So now all I do is wipe that colour off, so it's completely off. And then I'm going to bring in some crushed curry, which I have my palette happening already, and all I want this one for is to just do the centers, and I do like a little circle in the center, and then I just brush out from the center, so you can see that I haven't even gone back into the palette. Don't need very much ink on that center. So I'll just do the other one, a little circle in the middle, and then just brush out. There we go, that's that one. Just wipe that off. Now the leaves we're going to do in Old Olive. And they're very easy because once again you've got so much black. So what I do with the leaves is I just use the tip of my brush and just very carefully go round the edges. If I want to add a bit more colour, just go back in. So you can see how easy it is with your Aqua Painter. Just being careful on those edges, and just use where it's really stamped dark black, just use those areas to put your Aqua Painter down first with. Just try not to be in a hurry, because you will just be disappointed if you go outside the lines. And where there's a little stem, I just wait till there's actually literally hardly any colour on my brush, and then I just go down the stem very lightly, just using the very tip of my Aqua Painter. You can see I just brought a little bit more colour in there, was a bit light. Now on these buds, there is leaves on the bottom of the bud like that. Okay, so then we've just got to do, just don't want to put my fingers on a wet piece of part of the ink, so I'm just brushing from the tip of the leaf into the center. You'll figure out which way you want to do it. I'm just hopefully giving you an ideal. And don't worry if you go on the black lettering, because you're not going to see it, because it's just such a dark lovely imprint of the letters. So you can see how easy that is. We'll just do these few leaves here. Just doing this last couple. And I have had a query from a lady, like, what Stampin' Up is. I was surprised that she had never heard of Stampin' Up, and she'd come across one of my tutorials. It's a paper craft company where their core product is stamps, but they are so much more. They have adhesives, die cutting machines, designer series paper, cardstock, colouring tools, ink pads, anything to do with paper craft, literally, Stampin' Up do have. But it is important to realise that their core product is their stamps, as in their name, Stampin' Up. So I just wanted to brush over just to let you know that if you don't have a demonstrator looking after you and you live in Australia, I would be more than happy to help you with any of the products that you see me use. Just contact me via my blog or my online store, or leave a comment below. If you've ever thought of joining Stampin' Up and you want to know, so you get a lovely 20% discount on all your products. If you want to know more about that, just contact me and I'll be more than happy to help you. Now I'm just bringing back in the crushed curry, and there's just these little spots here, and you just got to be so careful not to have too much on your brush, because they're just a couple of little, I mean, you could just leave them black really. It's just a couple of spots. So So you can see that that didn't take us long to colour that at all. Like, I could keep going and do a bit more shading on the flowers, but I'm not going to. So we'll set that aside. Now our base card for this hello card, I've called it, is Elegant Eggplant. I'll zoom you out a bit now. Is Elegant Eggplant, and it's 11 inches long by 4 1/4 inches wide, and then we've scored it at 5 1/2. And then we just want to give it a good burnish, because it's going to have a few layers. Now I've gone ahead and just put a piece of Island Indigo inside. I haven't stamped anything on it, whereas I didn't stamp anything on my original card either, because I just think that it would take away this lovely beautiful image. If I had a special order and they wanted something in there, I'm more than happy to do that. So that's our base card, which will pop up there. And then I have another piece of Island Indigo, which is 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. And then I have my piece of basic black, which is going to go across there, and that's 3 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to use Snail today for this. Now I just like to use my grid lines just to line up there. And that's gone down a bit crooked. If I'm quickly enough, I know it's brought up a bit of that, but that won't matter because I should have lined it up a bit better on the grid lines. So that's a lot better. So then I've got a piece of ribbon which I'm going to adhere to the side like that. So just bring in my tear and tape and just pop. I'm going to pop that over. This is on the back of the card also. For those that haven't seen my tutorials before, you'll see how I do adhere my ribbons and lace. So I'm just going to put a small piece onto that tear and tape there till it catches, and then I just want to wrap it around the card as straight as I possibly can so that it grabs the tear and tape at the back. Tear and tape is a very strong adhesive, and it's what I adhere all my ribbons and lace with. So So all the products I use is Stampin' Up unless I say otherwise. Everything I use is from Stampin' Up. So then we've got that happening down there. Then I'm going to adhere that to the front of my card like so. So because I've got tear and tape on the back of there, I will just need to grab some, because glue just won't do it. It won't stick to your card. And if you get this stamp set, just experiment with the colours. There's so many choices. So we're just going to get some of my multi-purpose liquid glue and just get it happening so I'm not getting a blob on the edges. But if you haven't caught one of my tutorials before, the reason I like multi-purpose glue is that you can move the card for a few seconds just to straighten it if you happen to not put it down straight. So I'll just put some on that edge. And I also, you'll see me using cotton bud. It's just to take any blobs out of it. So we're just going to line that up with my grid paper, which is also available from Stampin' Up. Now just be careful because I've got tear and tape underneath that ribbon and that will take straight away. So I'm just making sure this end, which doesn't have tear and tape, is straight, and then I'm just going to press down on there like that. So I'm hoping to show you a few of the new stamp sets over the next few months. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Now because this is on, because I painted this on, coloured it I should say, on watercolour paper, I'm able to twirl it a little bit with my bone folder because I'm going to put adhesive, I'm going to put dimensionals on this so it stands up off the card a little bit. But you still have to be a bit careful. So that's going to sit on the card like that. So we'll just bring in the dimensionals. Now with this, when I cut it out like this, I find I try and go for all the main points so that you've got dimensionals right out to the edge. Just being careful not to go that close to the edge that it's going to show on the other side. You don't want it to show on the other side, and because I've twirled it with the bone folder, the leaves will just curl naturally. And Stampin' Up has brought out some mini dimensionals as well. So if you wanted to, where these are too big, you could put a mini dimensional in. I'll just see if I get, yep, no, you can't see that. So then we just have to take off the backings, which normally they come off quite easily, hence why I don't have nails, as I It always amazes me, people that do tutorials and they have the most beautiful nails, and I just don't know. They must have strong nails because I just don't have any nails at all. I've been crafting for over 20 years now and I've never had nails. So I've just got one more to take off. This is the boring part of the tutorial. But I think it's important to show you the tips. So just make sure that's... Now the dimensionals are quite strong adhesive too, so you want this to go down straight. Even if you just put one down first and then that one. And then where the dimensionals are, just give it a little press down, even with your whole palm. And you can see, because we did use the bone folder, oh, I can see I just missed a spot too. Just grab a little bit of blue just on that bud. Remember, I was going to come back and do that. I did the leaves under the bud, and a bud would be quite strong in colour because it hasn't even opened yet, so you would want that to be quite a deep colour compared to your flowers that have opened. And also I just see one little other spot that I missed was these little berries up here, where I said you just got to be careful, you just want to touch it. But I just love this stamp set. It's just so easy to colour or not to colour, whichever you would like to do. And then lastly, I'm just going to grab some of the new glitter enamel dots. I'll just turn it around so I can see what I'm doing. And I don't put a sentiment on this card because the word says hello, so you can put a sentiment on it if you like, but I don't put a sentiment on this one. So we'll just try and pull these out and grab my tweezers, and I'm just going to put 3 up there. The good thing about these glitter enamel dots is, even though, so these are all blue, but they're different colours of blue, going from dark to light, which is really good. So we would want, most probably about I think I'll go for the lighter ones, because the blue colour that I've used on the card is quite dark. So I'm just going to put 3. And I'm pleased to say they are a very strong adhesive on these enamel dots. Rid of that. We're just going to put our last one on. I just want it to be in a straight line. So there we go. There's that card, and I really love it in the blue actually. It looks quite nice. Now, I noticed that is yellow, so you can see that ribbon is yellow. Just I noticed when I had it down there, it looked more of a mustard colour. So I just zoom out a little bit so you can see. So you can see how different, just by using different colours, how different the cards look. So I won't keep going because I know this tutorial is going to be a long one. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you will purchase that stamp set because it's absolutely gorgeous. There is another image in the stamp set which I'll come back at a later stage and do a card for you with that. But until next time, thank you for spending some of your day with me today, and until next time, happy crafting.